So my name is Nicole Mwanaidi. I'm former data analyst with Jumo. I worked with Jumo until the 7th of November. I had to resign because of personal issues, specifically health-related issues. So I'm currently not with Jumo. I have worked as a data analyst for maybe 4 to 5 years. So that's where a lot of my experience is. Not so much to do with data science, but data is data. So I kind of like have an idea how the industry looks like, and some of the things that we might need to put in place to kind of like get our profiles out there and going. So I got an invitation from the ADS to come and give a talk about what I know about looking for jobs, how to package yourself really, to get a job and get, your interviews out there rolling. So thank you, everyone. I'm hoping we will have a very good session.
All right, great. Thank you for that introduction. So I think when we were talking at first, I expressed that we have people in who are learning data science, learning data analysis, but the problem comes in when everybody is sending out their application, sending out their LinkedIn profiles, but they just don't seem to secure that interview. What could be wrong?
So there's a few things that could be wrong. Not every time means that something is wrong. When you're looking for jobs, when a job ad has been placed out there, you have to realize that there's, for lack of a better word, 1 million people with the same skills as you do. And so it not always doesn't mean that something is wrong. Sometimes there was just someone with, something different than you do now. So that is something we have to be honest about. But then again, there's a side where there could be something wrong. And a lot of things that could be wrong is really your profile, how you package yourself. So think of an interview process. Really what happens with an interview process, or when recruiters are looking for people to fill up job positions, number one is that there will be a need for a job. Number two is that they will put that need for a job out there, and that is where the job description comes in. So you will be looking through your LinkedIn profile, you will be looking through Fuzu and all that, and you're getting in messages about, there's this job, there's this opening, and so on and so forth. So the jobs are there. So people are looking for people to fill up these roles. So what happens with the recruiters is that when they put out a job ad and then you go ahead and apply for the job, they have a system where they pass all the resumes. That's the first check. They pass all the resumes, kind of like to check who goes to the next stage. And so if you're not doing a good job packaging yourself appropriately, then you're failing at that initial stage and no one is calling you to talk to you anyway. So this is where, we need to talk about how then do I package myself appropriately so that I even get that initial conversation with the recruiter. Because there's stages to doing an interview. The first one is, again, talking to the recruiter or the hiring manager. And then the next stage is now moving to the actual interview. So if you're not even getting the recruiter to talk to you, then it means that something is going wrong with how you're packaging yourself. So I want to compare this to, social media, something that we all relate to. How do you slide into someone's DM? It's because you saw a profile and you like the profile. You like whatever it is that the person has put in their profile. Could it be their pictures? It could be what they say about themselves. It could be whatever they like to do. All these things is helping you make the decision that I think I like this person. I think I like this lady. I think I like this guy. And so I'm going to slide in their DM. It is very hard for you to get people sliding in your DM if you don't have maybe good pictures, your profile is basic, you don't have any activities on your profile. How is anyone going to slide into your DM? So it is the same concept.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a very interesting analogy you used. I think everybody associates or has a similar experience like that with social media. So you said something about a system. What system is this that they take the CVs through or your profile through?
So when I say a system, it can be an automated process depending on the company. It can be manual. But basically what I mean here is that there are keywords that every job is looking for. So keywords. For instance, if keywords, yes. Okay. So for instance, if a job description has been put out there and they're looking for a Power BI developer, for instance, and one of the keywords automatically they're going to be expecting is Power BI, right? Sure. Some other thing that they might be looking for is DAX, because Power BI, then if you're working with Power BI, you're writing some DAX. They could talk about data modeling, because if you're building projects in Power BI, you have to model your data so that you can visualize your data. Something else they could be looking for is visualization specialists, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, they are looking for these keywords in your resume, and this is what passes your resume in the initial stages. Because in the initial stages, someone hasn't even talked to you. It's like going on a blind date. Yes. And so you don't know who you're going to meet, but you have an idea who they are because you read something of them. So this is exactly what your resume is doing. Before I even give you a chance to talk to you, I need to see that you're even worth my time, because they don't want to be talking to someone and you don't have Power BI, but they clearly stated that they want someone who's doing Power BI. So if you don't have these keywords on your resume, then this is the disconnect.
Okay, that's interesting. I like this scenario because it's quite similar to a dating scenario. So a person will go out there and say, I want, for a man probably they say, I want a lady who is this tall, ready working, blonde hair, black hair, whatnot. So it's for you to match that. And the good thing is that the recruiter actually gives you the things you should put in your CV.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're going to, you're going to meet with someone who has clearly said in your example, I want a lady who's tall, I want a lady who's dark skin, I want a lady who has long hair, I want a lady who is this and that. So you... I think I got muted by someone else.
Sorry. Well, go on.
There is someone that, okay, they are muted. Yeah, so sorry about that. So I was going to go by your example and really, emphasize on what you just said. If you're going to go for it's like the dating site, just like you have said. And if we can put in work to build a dating profile, I've seen people have, amazing dating profiles on Tinder, on wherever, and you're like, oh, wow, they really put in work into building this profile. So if you really can put in the work into building a profile to date, why can you not put in the work to build your profile so that you can get a job? In the case of a job, the recruiter has already put out for you exactly what the qualities are that they need from you. So they have listed it. And so one of the things that people are doing wrong is people have one resume that they use to apply to every job. That is not right. That is one of the mistakes that we are making with every
you have one resume for a job in data science, data analysis, software engineering, same CV. Doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Even just within data, if we take data management or data analytics, even just within that little category, it cannot be the same resume. So what you need to do is to have that resume, which is like your customized resume, like one resume, but for every job you're going to be applying to, you will be tweaking it to fit into what the job is looking for. Because the idea here, if you take a data analyst, for instance, you could have studied, Tableau, you could have studied Power BI. And so you have these two skills, but then these people are looking for someone who's good at Power BI. Don't you think that you need to be putting your Power BI ahead of whatever other skills that you have? And that is what we mean by tweaking your resume so that it fits into the job that you're going to.
Okay, nice. That's an interesting thing you put out there, that not all jobs, the same CV cannot go to the different job descriptions that you're applying for. So on that note, let's assume now the person has identified, has read the job description really well, and now they are writing their CV to match it. on the different things on the CV, what should go first? Is it the work experience, the schools you went to, or the skills that you have, or the projects you've already built? What goes first?
So if we talk about the structure of the CV, there should be, at the very top of your CV should be clear indication of your name, your contact, how people can contact you. So I will have my name up there, Nicole Mwanaidi. I will say what I am, if I'm a data analyst, and then I will put my phone number, and then I will put my email address, the different ways that someone can contact me. And if I want to share my LinkedIn profile, I will put my LinkedIn profile there. Now, so when we come to the actual CV, the first thing you want to focus on is your skills, because this is what nobody wants to sit down and read things that are irrelevant. So again, it's like you're 10 beautiful women, and again, I'm just using this example, and maybe you're going for modeling, right? And so you want to put your best foot out there. If your best foot is your height, you want to put your height out there. If it is your walk, you want to put that out there, and so on and so forth. So when you're building your resume, we start with the skills, because in the industry that we are in the data industry or in the tech industry, the most important thing is your skills. You realize that a lot of people are in tech and they don't even have the education for whatever it is that they are doing. There's so many people who are now working as data scientists, data analysts. Maybe they didn't even go to college. They've never had a career before that, or maybe they're formerly teachers, and so on and so forth. So really, when you're building your resume, what you want to focus on ahead is your skills. And this is why you will list all those skills that you have. Yes, because if I have a million resumes to look at, I want to be drawn to the specifics. I don't want to spend time looking for, okay, so what exactly can you do? What exactly are you good at? I want that to be standing out there, because it's the first thing that I'm going to decide on and say, okay, so she can do Power BI, she can do Excel, she can do Python, she can do that. I'm using this to do that. So you want to put your skills first. After your skills, then comes closely your work experience. So this is where you will give the details of what exactly you did for every job. So this will be for every job, job A, the year, what you were, and then the skill, the job activities that you did with that company, and so on and so forth. And then once you have that, at the very last is your education section comes here. And also this education section, this is the tricky part. Even with your education, if for instance, you have a degree in being a teacher, and now you, for some reason, went to Africa Data School, and now you are a data analyst, then your Africa Data School certificate is more important than your degree in education. Again, you're putting your best foot forward. Nobody cares whether you have a degree or no, they care that you can do. So if you have something that proves that you can do data, then that's what you want to put forward. If you have a master's in education, but now you're a data analyst and you have a Power BI certification, I'm more interested in your Power BI certification than I am of your master's program. So you also have to, it is about putting your best foot forward.
All right. I think this is a mistake all of us make. We include all the schools we've been to, not taking into account the job that we are applying for. Yeah.
And that is what we are doing, with everything. I mean, even when you go to the actual interview and you ask, tell me about yourself. At this point, they want you to sell yourself to me in 2 sentences, right? So if you start talking about I'm a software engineer, I know C++, I know, it doesn't matter. Yes, you know C++, but you're applying into a job as a data analyst. They don't care whether you know C++ or Java or no. They care about what you know as it relates to being a data analyst. So again, it is about putting your best foot forward. It's not about putting everything that you know, because let's be honest, from the time you're born to now, you have gathered so many skills. You cannot put all that in one resume, which is why I said every resume will be unique to every job that you're applying to.
True. Okay, now I'm pretty sure some of us are asking ourselves, so I have totally no experience. Africa Data School has people who came directly from university, so they are university graduates. So they don't have experience they don't have work experience per se. they have the skills but no work experience. How does that person present themselves and increase their chances of, you know, securing a conversation or interview with a recruiter?
Unfortunately, that is not the interesting part. Because unfortunately, a lot of jobs will say we want 10 years experience, we want 3 years experience, and so on and so forth. But like I said, lucky for us, we are in an industry where it is more about what you can do than what you think you study. So is there anything that can prove what you can do? Do you have a portfolio? Do you have, any of those personal projects you've worked on? Have you? And again, I talk about Power BI and data visualization a lot because this is where I am. Have you built any beautiful dashboards? Do you have a link where I can go and look at this dashboard? Somebody will give you a chance if you can prove that you can do what you can do. Again, put everything that is relevant, even though you do not have work experience because you just finished, but throughout I have been working on A, B, C, and this is a list of the projects that I have worked on, and you can find them here. Put that link there so that someone can go and look at that, and if they are impressed, they will give you that call.
All right, that's so it means, so for example, in Africa Data School, we have this structure where we have a lot of assignments that are, projects-based kind of curriculum. If that person does the assignments and then writes a blog about it, puts the code on GitHub, writes a blog on Medium about how they did that project, and at some point when they finish, put that on their resume, does that count?
It does. It helps a lot because you don't have actual work experience. That's the only thing that this is taking away from you. But you do have experience working as a data analyst or as a data scientist because you have worked on actual projects. And if these projects are real world related, the data is real data, and someone can look at, this is something you worked on from the scratch, you build, this, or you automated this process, or you did that, or you did that. Yes, you need to put all this together because at the end of the day, even if we take me and person B, and person B has a degree in software engineering, and all I have is my portfolio of the work that I have done, I still stand a better chance than they. Again, goes back to my point. We are in an industry where what matters is what you can do and not about what you study. That is why there's so many people now doing IT and they did not go to school to study IT.
Many other times when we get people coming into Africa Data School, they say, can I get the certificate? Can I come and I know how to work on this. Can I just get the certificate? And then I'm like, okay, this is not about the certificate. It's about whether you can actually do this.
That is correct. Funny story.
The certificate is just proof that you did it, but it doesn't obscure the fact that you can actually do it.
True.
Go ahead.
And that is the funniest thing about this industry is nobody cares. And I'm sorry, nobody cares that you have this certificate and that certificate. I don't have any certifications, and I have worked jobs as a data analyst. I didn't even go to school to study to be a data analyst. It is how you're able to package yourself, number one, with a good resume, and number two, can you do the job? If I give you the chance, can you actually do the job? You see what I mean? So people are focusing, and it's something that we have been conditioned to do, especially us from Kenya. I don't know about any other countries in Africa, but we are so focused on what you studied that you forget that it's not about that. It's about, can you do the job? And the only way that someone can prove that you can do the job, first of all, they will look at your resume, and then after that, they will now want to talk to you. When you're doing an interview, when you're interviewing someone who's been in the industry, someone who's done the job, you will know, because there are questions that you can be asked that you wouldn't know even if you studied until what? Unless you have actually worked with the tool, you cannot answer these questions. I don't care how much knowledge you know from the books. You see what I mean? So it's more about what you can do. So if you have anything that proves what you can do, that's what you want to put there. Not so much about, I went to this school, I went to Kenya High School, I went to, after your high school, nobody cares which school you went to. They just want to know, can you do the job?
Okay, and not to discount that certification is important, because there are some places where there are some experiences that you know, how far you've gone in your studies, getting to a PhD is a plus, just because that job is highly technical, requires a lot of experience. And for example, being a doctor, you don't want, those are very risky kind of jobs, and the certification is probably really important. And probably other skills like you know, high risk, like making a mistake costs like cost
Yeah.
like. So but for someone starting at a junior data scientist, junior data analyst, I don't, that, do you think that probably the certification really matters at that point, or it's what you can do?
It is a plus.
It is a plus.
It is a plus,
Okay.
number one. Number two, it is also going to be the something that shows someone that you can do the job before they even talk to you. So again, if you have the certifications, you would put them as part of your resume or as part of your profile. It's like when people go on LinkedIn and we take courses on LinkedIn and then we share the certificate. We don't have to share those certificates on LinkedIn. We just want someone out there to know that we have this skill. So these are things that will put you forward. Now, in IT, can you not get a job because you don't have a certificate? No. Should you have a certificate? If you can afford to get a certificate, then go ahead and get you a certificate. Because when all is said and done, before I even talk to you and know that you can do the job, then maybe your certificate will give me an idea that you can do the job. And then now it comes to the point where I'm actually talking to you, then I will make the decision, can you really do the job or no? So it is a plus, it is not a determining factor. Because there are people who have all the certificates, but they cannot actually do the job. Remember, these certifications are just what, exams. Some sites have you doing the exam more than once. If you have the money, you can do the Microsoft exam like 10 times until you get that certificate. Does it prove that you can do the job? Not really. At the end of the day, can you do the job? That is the most important thing.
Thanks for that. For senior managers in data analysis and data science, is papers I think, is it something that people really need for senior management positions?
For senior management positions, say for instance, you're applying to a job. In my opinion, honestly, it's all about the years of experience that will get you a senior managerial position. All the job descriptions that I have looked at, and most of the job descriptions that I look at, those things, you will see job descriptions that will say, degree in computer science or something like that, is a good to have, but it's not a must have. It goes back to the years. If you're going to look for, senior manager or things like that, that would be more to do with your years of experience. I could get a senior managerial position just because I've been a data analyst for 10 years. That means that I have 10 years experience. And so I'm able to work as a manager. So it's not, and coming from Kenya, we all recognize the importance of focusing on getting the papers and all that. If you can spend the time on getting the actual skills, because this is a skill-based, industry. This is like all about what you can do, not so much about the papers. I've said this. If you can spend the time into building your profile, if you can spend the time into building, the things that you have done, if you can spend this time to taking those certifications, if you want to, then you can go ahead and do that. But I will tell you this. If person A and person B both apply to the same job, person B has 10 years experience being a data analyst, person A has 10 certificates, person B will get the job over person B. It is about what you can do. If you have done the job for over 10 years, it means that your skills are advanced. If you've worked with Excel for 10 years, it means that your skills in Excel are advanced. So if this is what they are interested in, will be the reason why they give you the job.
Okay, this is some gems we are getting today, because I think for people who are not experienced, this looks so, the interview process looks so abstract, or the application process looks so abstract. So I think the other question I would ask before I now move to the questions that people might want to ask. So the job search process.
Mm-hmm.
How many times should someone apply for jobs in a day?
As many times as you think you need a job.
There's no shortcut.
There is no shortcut, unfortunately. And that is the hardest part of any job search process, is applying to jobs. But you know what? When you have a good profile, when you have a profile that you have taken time into building, then you don't even need to apply for jobs. I've gotten to a point where I don't really apply for jobs. I will just get people in my LinkedIn or send me emails and say, hi, Nicole, there's this job. Please go over the job description. Let me know if you're interested. If I showed you my email right now, I have like 1,000,001 of those messages coming in. And I'm just like, you know, sometimes you're like, they need to stop emailing me. And so when you have a good profile, when you have taken the time to build your profile, you will get to a point where you don't even need to apply for jobs. You will just be going about your day and someone is calling you, hey, so-and-so, you know, I have an opening for this and I came across your profile and you seem to be having the skills that the customer needs and so on and so forth. So why don't you get to that point by actually working on your profile so that people, you know, just out there look for you, so that recruiters kind of like just forward your resumes to each other, because these recruiters, they talk, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like how we data people, we talk. Right. Yes. So you'll have a friend who works with this company and as a data person and so on and so forth. So that's how you have an idea of what happens in every other company, because you have friends. Yeah. It's the same as recruiters. They talk with each other. Yeah. You know, someone will call someone and say, you know, I have this opening. Do you have anyone that you maybe talked to in the recent days, or a resume you saw in the recent days, and they could be fitting this profile? And someone will say, yeah, I have so-and-so, here's their profile. So work on the thing that actually does the work for you. But to answer your question, if you're looking for a job, then your most recent job is looking for a job, because that is actually work. You need to sit there, you need to tweak your resume. It's not magic. You cannot just sit there and think that you're going to magically get a job. You have to put in the work.
Yeah, I always say, yes, work hard and then make a lot of noise about it. Tell the whole world about it. Do a lot of hard work, but tell the whole world about it, for them to know that you exist, that you have those skills. Thanks, Nicole. I think I'll just go ahead now and ask questions that our audience. So we have a mixture of audience here. Some people are already part of Africa Data School, and some are looking to join at some point. So I'll just go ahead and start with a question by Maureen. So Maureen asks, if you don't mind, would you kindly tell us a day in the life of a data analyst? Probably share in terms of from the first year to the 5th year as a data analyst. How is the day in life of a data analyst?
It depends on what your job description is. So there's different, and when you really read into it,
I think giving you your experience would shed more. So give your experience.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It depends on what your job description is. You know, and you know, a lot of times these job descriptions get mixed up. Sometimes they say data analyst, but you're really doing visualizations and so on and so forth. In my experience, it has been a lot of working with data. One thing that I'm going to say is, as a data analyst, you need to know SQL. People have said things about, you know, you don't need to know SQL as a data analyst. Why you need to know SQL? Because data is going to be stored somewhere. A lot of times people are now storing their data in relational databases. You need to be able to pull that data to do whatever work you need to be doing that data with. So as a data analyst, well, I want to say the first part is understanding the industry that you are in, understanding what the job description is that you're pulled in to do, and then understanding what you're going to be doing on a day-to-day. understanding the data, understanding where the data is, and so on and so forth. So if you get into that, then now once you have that knowledge, you start working on projects. So you can be given projects. It's different. It's a mix of requests. Today can be, can you pull this data that shows this? Tomorrow it can be, can you build this report? Can you visualize this thing? Sometimes it's, can you model this data? Can you come up with this documentation? You're building data dictionaries and all that. So it depends really on what your category is. But one thing you need to know for sure is on a day-to-day, you're going to be working with data. Either you're going to be working on an ad hoc request, or you're going to be working on those recurring requests. For instance, you build financial dashboards every end of the month. So you're going to be focusing on that. A lot of work towards the end of the month. The rest of the days, you're just working on ad hoc requests. Can you pull this information? Can you pull that information? That is what you do as a data analyst on a day-to-day.
Okay, that's good. I think also you've said one of the skills that are really important is you need to know SQL. So that ties into the next question. What skills are non-negotiable? Like you need to have that in your CV for this field.
When you say this field, it also includes data science. And I'm not so much into data science.
I think just say for data, what you know at the moment for data analyst,
okay,
what you're sure about.
Yes. So for data analysts, skill number one, you have to know SQL. Any other thing is secondary. Python, all that, that's fancy. You can do Python, you can do Java, you can do all that. That is fancy, that's a plus. Depending on the kind of data you're going to be working with, you have to know how to write SQL. The second thing that I think that is important, that you need to understand is that you need to understand data modeling and the concept of, because if you don't understand the data modeling and the relationships between tables, you have to understand how the tables relate with each other, because you're going to be working, pulling data from these tables. Another thing that people really don't focus on, it's not really something you can put on your resume, but it's important that you understand, is that you have to be able to, you have to have the ability to understand the industry within which you're in. If you don't understand the industry, then you will not understand the data. And when you don't understand the data, you cannot tie the data to a bigger picture. Sometimes you'll be doing a trend, and then for some reason, the trend line goes unusually down, or the trend line goes unusually up. If you're familiar with what the industry looks like and other external factors that could be affecting the industry, then as a data analyst, you can quickly pick up and say, oh, I think the numbers are going down because this and that is happening. I think the numbers are going down because of the economy ABCD, and this is how the economy affects people taking loans, for instance. So you need to be familiar with the industry, that you're working in. Something else that you need to have, it depends on what you're getting in, because in the data field, there's also people who go as business analysts or business intelligence analysts, and there's people who just go as data analysts. The BI people are more client facing, so you need to work on your communication skills. As a data analyst, you can comfortably sit in the back and just work on pulling the data, writing SQLs, never really talking to anyone. It depends on the type of person that you are. You don't want to talk to people, you don't want to deal with people, you just want to work on the data, build things in the back. But if you're going to be selling yourself as a business analyst or BI analyst, you're going to be doing a lot of talking with stakeholders, so you need to be good at communicating. Certain skills like, you have to be good at Excel. People value Excel. Almost every time you find yourself working with Excel, even if you have the data stored in the cloud, you often find yourself that pulling that data into Excel so that it can make sense. Those pivot tables and things like that, you just have to pull it down to be able to make sense. I think also that it is important that to some extent, you need to be able to report as a data analyst, because if you're going to be pulling this data, you need to work on your presentation skills. How are you presenting this data to whoever is consuming this data? So you can learn a visualization tool, or you can just work with Excel and things like that. Those are the things that I think I can think of off the top of my head.
All right. So you said Excel, SQL, and some reporting tools.
Some Reporting skills is very necessary, yes.
Okay.
Because you're not pulling the data to sit with it. You need to give it to someone. So
yes.
how are you presenting this person?
Okay.
Yes.
I think so. The good thing about this is for data science, data science encompasses all the way from picking data to now creating a machine learning model. So analysis is a core part of this journey, and for any data scientist, those same skills apply to them. So the next question that has been asked here is, so we tell people to so 40,000 for a course or 35,000 for data analysis course sounds so expensive. So just tell us what the potential salary for a data analyst is. You've been there. You can give a range if you don't want to tell us what you are getting paid at Jumo, but you can give us a range. How much?
Well, so first of all, 40,000, 30,000, 100,000, 1 million shillings, nothing can quantify whatever it is that you do to feed your brain. This is the most important thing. This is something that no one can ever take from you. This is the only thing that you have, unless you go mad. But even mad people, have you seen some mad people in the streets and they will be saying things and you're like, okay, this must have been a very smart person when they were.
This no one can take that away from them.
Nobody, they will take all that, they will take the money, have them sleeping in the streets. But if it was a smart person, you will know. Even when they are having their worst days and they're saying mambo jumbo, you will know that this was a very smart person. You see what I mean? So I would never quantify anything I spend on myself. I would never say that this is too expensive, but that's just me. Well, having said that, I don't think 30,000, 40,000, 100,000. There's another class where I teach Power BI and the students pay 300,000,
so
which is why I don't think
that's $3,000.
$1,000. So I don't think that.
And here we are at $400. I think we should hike the price.
That's not what I'm saying. Now you will make the students hate me.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
All right.
What is the salary? I started, I've started low, but this was my strategy when I was looking for jobs. I knew, and you have to be smart about this. I knew when I started looking for jobs, I knew that I had not worked as a data analyst. So when I was looking for what I was someone to give me a chance to get a job. All right. So at the initial stages of my career, money was not the determining factor. I was not in this for the money. I was in this for a long time. And I wanted this to be my career. So at the beginning, I was not so much focused on how much you're going to be paying me, how much, and so on and so forth. One thing that I'm going to be honest about is that no one can ever take something after it has gotten to your resume. So I remember one of the jobs that I worked and I was, paid not so much money. It was 50,000 shillings, but the client was Microsoft.
That's right? $500. That's
$500 per month. Okay. And the client was Microsoft. I was happy with this. And I remember the recruiter even asking me, you seem as though you have so much experience. Are you sure you're comfortable with this salary? And I said, yes, I'm at a point in my career. It's not about the money. I just want the skills. And so you see, forever on my resume, I'm always going to have Microsoft on my resume. Sure. You see what I mean? Because this was my strategy. My job after that, which was my job with Jumo, I ended up getting paid, is it 6 times that?
Did you say
maybe 6 times? Yes. So at the time that I left, I was getting
3,000 USD.
No, not 6,000. It was half of that. So at the time that I left Jumo, I was getting paid 305,000 shillings a month.
So I think for anybody in the tech field, just put in the work, the value is coming.
And start somewhere. Put in the work, the value is coming, and always start somewhere. Yeah. You don't want to go into a resume, into a job interview, and you're starting to claim the way I cannot get paid less than 300,000. because you think you went to the university and you studied how to do software engineering and things like that. You can do that if people are looking for you and your skills are really on demand, and you can play with that. But if you really need to get in, and for most of you, you're saying you're just starting out, you're just starting out, you're just finishing college. So start from somewhere. You're going to start from somewhere, but you're building your profile, because you have to put work into building your profile. I'm pretty sure Jumo would not have contacted me if I didn't have this previous job that was paying me less. I'm pretty sure Jumo would never have contacted me if I did not have anything. And there's other things that you just do for the purpose of building your profile. Like, for instance, you're in Africa Data School and they're working on something, or they're needing something to teach something. That is part of you building your profile. You're getting more comfortable, you're getting your skills out there. So put the work in building your profile, because it's not magic. You cannot jump shift. Everyone who's getting paid, 600,000, 700,000, they started from somewhere. So you have to put in the work.
Okay. I think everybody has had that. And I think the point is, have a long-term view on this. Even companies they say for a successful company to be, to say now they are likely to take another 20 years in business. They must have stayed for about 10 years. So it takes about 10 years to build a real good business. For your skills as well, I won't say it takes 10 years. I think for skills is faster, because you can accelerate. You're in control of the efforts that you put in, so you can actually accelerate how fast you build. But once you get the opportunity, and take them one by one and get a long-term view, as Nicole has said. Get a long-term view about this career and set out that this is what I want, and it's not about this job, it's about the next one. And it's not about now that I don't have a job, it's about when I get a job. Thanks for that, Nicole. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go to the last question, and the last question will be so for this is the last question. Once someone is employed, is there training that happens when one is employed, or just one just dives into the skills you said that you have, and start working?
There's the period, and this is a hard conversation I have to have with people often, but it's because here there's people who get jobs as contractors and there's people who get on permanent jobs. But in Kenya, we all just get permanent jobs. I don't know if we have contract jobs for data people. When you get into a permanent job, they have to train you. The training is not about teaching you how to write SQL or teaching you how to, the training is just basically training you about the job. So if it's maybe you get into a hospital, they will train you about how they run their systems, what their process, the business process is, where their data is, what you need to, it will be about the job. It will not be about data. So no one really gets to train you about, okay, this is how you write SQL. This is how, if you're working on Power BI, they will tell you what their standards are. We expect the dashboard to look like this, to have that, to have these colors and so on and so forth. That's just as far as the training goes. So the training is just a period to catch you up on what the industry looks like, what they do. Sometimes when they hired you onto a job, knowing that you do not have a particular skill. For instance, you got onto a job because you're really good, but they're using this tool and you don't have the skills for that tool. They will train you on how to use that tool. So that is what the training period is. But is it training you how to write SQL? Is it training you how to use Power BI? They expect that you already know how to do that because you said you know how to do that.
Thank you.
I think you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the insights that you have given us. So I know me and you had talked about you coming into Africa Data School to help our graduates with, creating their profiles, making their CVs, have a good start in terms of how it should look like once they start looking for jobs. And I think the reason for even me bringing you to this webinar was to just one, for you to see that there is a community here waiting for what you are passionate about, Nicole, and also for them to see that this is not just another business called Africa Data School trying to impose, do your CV. You need to be relentless in searching for a job. You need to make sure your LinkedIn is stellar. Even me, I work at Africa Data School, but still, my CV is still up to date. My LinkedIn profile is still up to date. So I think it was important for you to come, and hopefully we will have you join Africa Data School as a part of people who help with the student success. And I know many people here would like to just have a session with you, help them go through their CV and their LinkedIn, and I think they appreciate. So I'll let one person here say something, and this person asked a question. So the person I will ask is Collins Kiplagat. Collins, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible. I think you're one of you're an alumni, or you're part of the students?
I was part of the August cohort that finished in October.
Okay, you're already an alumni. So I think give you a chance to say something and probably ask a question.
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to really appreciate what Africa Data School has done for us. I would consider us as young or junior data scientists. And the journey has been, it has not been that journey you would say it's smooth, because with this learning, it's not something that you can grasp within 3 months. Learning is a continuous process. And what you did as a school is to introduce us and to give us a platform whereby we can start our journeys. And you see with these journeys, each and every one of us takes a different path. Some will go the longest way, and others will also use other means to just get the skills. So with the webinars that you've been setting up, and also with this type of knowledge, I would say there are some of them are tips to how we can now make ourselves to be effective data scientists. So there have been several, I'm speaking from my own perspective. There have been applications that I've made on data scientist openings, and I feel like my CV has not been up to the task to attract a call for an interview, because what it has been doing is to just, I've been getting regrets. And so today I wanted to know, like, can you, if there is that, let's say a basic CV that you can just share with us, we can just go through it, and then we can at least format also ours on our end, so that at least we can get that interview that you can be invited now. Although I usually say any feedback from a prospective employer is usually good feedback, because it is now up to you to use that moment to gauge yourself, to see the gaps in your CV, as well as also in your skills. So thank you, Nicole. Duncan, also, I appreciate that. And so I look forward to future interactions, Twitter spaces that we can also have and engage with also other students. And also, I would also thank my colleagues. We've been studying, we've been having discussions during those classes that we had with Mwalimu Joy. And so today, this being, you guys providing us this, I would say, snippets of getting better and better to know what the market for a data scientist is like and what are the expectations of a person like that. And so basically now a starting point is being an alumni, a starting point is to have that CV that it can stand out. It can be 3 pages, but it's something that an employer can say, okay, what does this person have to stand out for an interview? So thank you so much. That's my question.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Collins. Go ahead, Nicole. Do you have the CV? Yeah.
That's my question, and it wasn't really a question. But I wanted to say that even the regrets is that, so the regrets is already telling you something, that someone is even looking at your CV in the first place. It's just not meeting the standards. So you have a place to start from. There's people who apply and they don't even get anything. So then you're seated there wondering, did they even get my CV? You know, what's going on? So if you're getting the regrets, that's a good start. It means you need to change something about something. One thing I know for sure is you will never have all the skills for every job, you know, so pick your struggle and focus on your struggle and focus on improving your struggle. You know, you cannot be good for every company, but you have to do your part to at least get a chance. And then maybe one day we will talk about how to do interviews, because that's also something else. A lot of people, an interview, I'm just gonna say this short, an interview is not a Q&A session. An interview is a professional discussion with someone. And so there's rules that, you know, that you need to follow when you're having a professional conversation with someone versus doing a Q&A. So there's also the interview part of it, but maybe some other day we can have that conversation. But, you know, thank you, Kip Lagat, if I remember that. I am glad that you enjoyed the session.
Yeah, and also probably we will find a way to make sure that, you know, you give us a sample of a CV to get them started. I'll send them. So one thing, we've recorded this whole session, and I will be I'll send it out in the email. So of course, if you're coming into this, you came into this session, I already have your email. I'll send it out. Also, one of our students, Tracy, has sent a link for a technical resume. I'll share that as well. But going forward, like I said, we as Africa Data School are getting into a journey of helping our students succeed. We call it student success. And I am pretty sure if you are in this conversation, it's not the last time to speak to Nicole. You're likely to speak to her again down the road. So, Nicole, thank you for making time.
You're welcome. I am glad it was one.
Yeah, and did you have to prepare anything, or this was?
No, to be honest, no. So this is just, I did not need.
Because you didn't have to think about, you know, creating presentations and all.
Yeah, this was way easier, and it's something I'm passionate about. So it was easy for me to have the conversation, and it helped that you are asking questions and I get to respond to those. So this was a little.
Actually, we all got the fact that you are passionate about it from how you are articulating answers.
Thank you.
So thank you once again. Thanks everybody for joining. Till next time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.